Oh man, the trailer dropped, you guys. Jurassic World Rebirth is coming. Just a few more months. And I bet some of y'all are wondering what I think about that. And you know, when it comes to judging movies before I've seen them, I try to avoid that because, well, I haven't seen them yet. I mean, people already flood social media with ridiculous opinions on trailers and, you know, basically decide they're gonna hate something before they actually see it. At the moment, I am standing in a position of speculatively optimistic, because there are some things I like about the direction here, other things I don't, but for our purposes today, I'm just gonna go over the designs of the dinosaurs we have confirmed for the movie, because that's basically all I talk about here, and look into some scientific accuracy a little bit. We'll dabble into that, because why not? It'll be fun. It'll be fun. I hope so. So, the first, and currently only, confirmed brand new dinosaur, or prehistoric animal, actually I should probably clarify, for this movie is, well, a lot of people don't seem to know what exactly it is. I believe it's been confirmed to be a Titanosaurus, which is an interesting choice for a whole host of reasons. Titanosaurus is a genus of sauropods that would have lived in the late Cretaceous period in what is now India. However, it is a dubious genus because it's often been used as a wastebasket taxon for a whole bunch of other species. They've just kind of been thrown into that. So, calling this Titanosaurus would be an odd choice when there are actual verifiable species of sauropods that fill in this role. As a result, the design of this thing is intensely speculative because in terms of the actual Titanosaurus genus and the type species, Indicus, we have very, very few remains. So the fin-like protrusions as well as the incredibly long whip-like tail are things that aren't necessarily guaranteed to be on a Titanosaur, and can't even be verified from a scientific perspective. A lot of people have complained about the tail, which is annoying to me, because tell me you don't know anything about sauropods without telling me you don't know anything about sauropods. The whip-like tail has long since been a theoretical defensive mechanism, although it probably wouldn't have been seen on something like a Titanosaur. That's mostly associated with something like Diplodocus. So it's one of those things where it's like, yes, but also no. It looks cool, you know. Although it does make me wonder why these animals would have been held back from the original Jurassic Park, because the whole point of this new island they're going to is that apparently this was a research center, only for research, and it was their initial site. And the dinosaurs that were left here were considered far too dangerous for the park. Site B, Isla Sorna, was the production center, and Isla Nublar was the main park, the showroom. So, from a logic perspective, it makes sense, but I don't understand why this animal would have been considered too dangerous. But maybe it's because of that tail. Maybe it could have just whipped itself out of containment at any waking moment. The design is definitely cool, and offers a more unique sauropod from a visual perspective, but in terms of accuracy, it's basically impossible to say, because Titanosaurus as a genus is dubious at best, and we really don't know what it would have looked like to any significant degree. We do know, however, it would have been very big, which, alright, I mean, they got that right, so fair enough. The rest of these are all animals we've seen before in the series, but there are some key differences that I will point out as we go. The first one is Jurassic Park's version of a velociraptor. Obviously, it is wrong for the same reasons it's always wrong. It's too big for the love of everything. It's not a velociraptor. But, you know, it's kind of a core element to the franchise at this point. They really can't change it even if they wanted to. It's whatever. But yeah, there's at least one in a test tube, and we do see an animal with a raptor claw at some point, but it's not confirmed if that's the Jurassic Park Velociraptor or something else. Because back to the whole point of this island, remember, they left dinosaurs here that were too dangerous for the regular park. The Velociraptors made the pass. What the heck is more dangerous than the really smart, really hostile Jurassic Park Velociraptors? That is an interesting question. Although one species that's here that actually makes sense in terms of being way too dangerous is Spinosaurus. Back, finally, in the main series. And this is big time fan service in my mind, because people have been begging for JP3 Spinosaurus to return at some point, and they just never did it outside of Camp Cretaceous. These Spinosaurs, however, are a lot different from that individual. The coloration, obviously, for one, but even the fin shape, the size, as well as clear pack hunting behavior. On top of that, it's even stated in the trailer they had developed some kind of symbiotic relationship with the local Mosasaurus, which is also in the movie, as you might imagine, in order to share their own territory. And this is a really odd decision in my mind. Obviously, there's no paleontological basis for it, but a lot of behavior is purely based on just kind of guesswork when it comes to prehistoric animals. But in this vein, I wouldn't have even considered this, because it is intensely rare for a predator to ally itself with another predator in the wild. Predators compete for resources. Prey animals, herbivores, will often share territory with other herbivores, even the same grazing areas. But carnivores, no, they usually don't hang out. It has been seen on occasion. It's not impossible, but it definitely seems like a bizarre choice, and probably one only made so they could have both these species attack the boat at the same time, which, okay, I guess if that's what you were going for a really cool scene, I'll take it. There have been some complaints about the designs of these Spinosaurs, but I think an effort was made to try to make them at least a little bit more paleontologically accurate, because honestly, they look a little bit more paleontologically accurate, based off of new discoveries and new theories regarding Spinosaurs. Although the Spinosaurus changes its design so many times based off of the next research paper, which presumably will come out, I don't know, tomorrow or the next day, who knows anymore, that getting one 100% accurate on the big screen is basically impossible. I think what they were trying to do was make it close to the JP3 Spinosaur, but try to make them at least a little distinctive when compared to that one, because obviously these ones were created older, they're going to be a little bit different, and their behavior does seem pretty hostile, although they are working together, which is not something that was seen at all with the original. Granted, that one was alone, so it is fair to say that it's completely unknown how it would have acted had it actually met another of its own species. Moving on to the Mosasaur, though, I don't really have that much to say, except I think this one is going to be way more in line with the correct size of a Mosasaur. We don't have an exact type species for this one yet, but it's way smaller than the Jurassic World Mosasaur, which was nearly at a kaiju level by the time that trilogy was done. This one seems more in line with how big they could have actually gotten, so fair enough. Oh boy, and speaking of animals that were way bigger when they first appeared and are now more accurate, it's Quetzalcoatlus. Watching the trailer, when it first dawned on me that these were Quetzals, I was like, oh, did they watch my video about that? Or maybe they just read a whole bunch of comments about it, because not only did they have more than one, but they're much smaller than Dominion's Quetzalcoatlus, which was way too big. I mean, these were giant pterosaurs, no question. Enormous flying reptiles, but not that enormous. These have been scaled down, and yet still appear super threatening. So, hey, fair enough. Good work on that. I know you guys can't change this. I understand. But, yeah, looks like the Dilophosaurus is back, and yeah, looks like they got a neck frill again. And therefore probably the venom spit thing. It just goes back to the first book. Well, the spit does. The frill's the movie, but In fairness, fans of the series have been begging for this animal to appear more, and though they did show up in Dominion, it wasn't for a particularly long time, so hey, whatever. New frill design, different coloration, but whatever. It's there, it's a thing that's now going on, it's fine. It's fine. You're not allowed to make a Jurassic Park or World movie without a Tyrannosaur at some point. That's a strict rule, and they're going to adhere to it. This Tyrannosaur does not appear to be basically any different from the traditional Jurassic Park-style Tyrannosaur, with the exception of tiger stripes, which is pretty freaking cool, actually. I don't mind a new coloration. I mean, that's great, you know, make this one look a bit more distinctive, since this individual would indeed be one we haven't seen at all in any extended media since this island is brand new. My question, therefore, is, alright, well, you put a T-Rex on Isla Nublar. It got to the park. Why was this individual left behind? What's so dangerous about this particular Rex? What's going on? Is there something weird about it, or was it just a random Rex that they just forgot about, or something? I don't know. But hey, there's a Rex in the movie. And that's cool. We like that. And before I end this video, since that's all the information we have out of the trailer when it comes to new or returning animals, as well as their scientific accuracy, which leaves a lot to be desired in most categories because it's Jurassic Park and it's fiction, it's fun, which you just have fun and stop complaining. I'm gonna go see the new movie. You're gonna go see the new movie, and then you're gonna come back on Facebook and act like a movie critic because everyone loves movie critics. Oh, wait, no, the opposite. Anyway, I do need to discuss the elephant in the room, which is... Okay, look, I get it. They wanted some new big bad, but they didn't want to use an actual dinosaur, so they made up something new and crazy for the research lab. People keep calling this a hybrid, and it's only a hybrid, I imagine, in the sense of that all the original dinosaurs were because they had to use frog DNA to fill in the gene sequence gaps. The explanation for this animal, which doesn't have a name yet, is that this was supposed to be a T-Rex. So already we have a lot of things wrong. But in canon, yeah, it's wrong. Because this animal was not an intentional creation or hybrid weapon like the Indominus family was. This animal was created on accident as one of the earliest viable embryos for a Tyrannosaurus. The end result, obviously, is hideously deformed and not at all what they were trying to create. It's just wrong. Like it went wrong, and got horribly mutated on accident. Now, in terms of the canon, I have no issue with this story because, frankly, this was almost a guaranteed thing to happen when you're tampering with DNA. There's no way they got it right the first time. Quite the opposite. I'm sure they had a lot of embryos turn out with hideous and horrid mutations. My only complaint so far with this thing is that I'm not crazy about the design. I think it looks like an abomination, and it's supposed to, but it's not really that imaginative, because they're like, oh, we wanted to cross a Rancor with a T-Rex and an alien, a xenomorph. And I'm like, why did you do that? You could have done something a lot... You didn't have to... You could have done a lot, and you didn't. Honestly, I personally find the design a little bit boring. It looks in line with what they were trying to do, but I think they could have done better. Be that as it may, my problem with this is not the thing's existence on the basis of it being created on accident at one point. That makes sense from a narrative perspective, and when it comes to what they were doing. What I have a problem with is why does it still exist? How is this thing still alive? How is it even allowed to reach adulthood in the first place? Because these mutations are too extreme for them to not have immediately known they had gotten something wrong. Why then did you keep it alive at all? For what reason? Based on the information we have now, there doesn't seem to be one. It makes no sense, because well, look at it. I mean, they would have had no logical use for this thing because it's not suited for display. It's the same reason the Scorpius Rex was rejected, if we recall, from Camp Cretaceous, because, frankly, it was a purposeful attempt to create a hybrid, but resulted in something hideous and gross and just, also tremendously dangerous and unpredictable. The canon reason that thing was kept alive is that Dr. Wu didn't want to terminate it, because he had created it. In this instance, maybe it's for the exact same reason, but why would Wu be proud of this thing? I mean, yeah, I guess he did create new life here, but honestly, bro, like, seriously, this is not a, no, but, maybe we'll get some kind of explanation like that if I had to guess in terms of how or why this thing still is permitted to exist. But somehow it escapes wherever it's imprisoned. Presumably they accidentally let it out, and then they have to deal with that problem, which is of course a problem that you have a tremendously malformed, mutated Tyrannosaurus running around that does no idea why it's even allowed to live. So yeah, it's a lot. But I'm gonna say the new movie come July. We'll see how they do. Hopefully it'll turn out to be something that's actually pretty good. There are some signs this might be worth it, but others are skeptical. And after Dominion, I understand the concern, but hey, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And with that, a special thank you goes out to my Apex Predators, Arthur Roy, and Metal for Life guy. Till next time, this is Darkness, and I bid you all a fond farewell.